morning, magic. Why do I always say morning? I'm so used to being in the morning. Good afternoon, magic ride people. It's already 5 o'clock. This day's going by so super fast. So I'm just gonna wait for people to come on and kind of ramble around for you guys who may be coming to the replay. I made a post a few minutes ago with the announcement that we're in the process of onboarding people for the Magic Carpet Ride program that starts next week. Hi, Lisa. And I just made a post with it's got a nice short, it's like 45-second video with a lot of details about the program. If you're looking for, like if you don't want to at first take the time to make an appointment to talk to me and you just want to see what it's about, you can watch the video. It's just a couple of spots down. So, excuse me. So I'm going to say this at the beginning of this and also towards the end. There's a lot of links in this post for, it's a free sample of the Magic Carpet Ride Learning Vault. There's Mind, Body, Spirit, and Manifesting modules within that link. So you can go use that. And there's lives every day for the rest of the week here about the modules in the program. Those of you who came to the roundtable event last night, thank you for coming. Those of you who signed up but weren't able to make it, if you put a comment in this video, I will send you I'm right now editing a video for the mind trip that we took last night. It was very, very good. And I can send you a copy of the audio if you want to take it, if you couldn't come last night. I'll be posting it too, but I'd be happy to send it to you, you know, if it's something that you're curious about. I want to tag, someone was just asking me where I was, so let me she's not here. Let me send it to her. So Lisa, how are you doing? Just bear with me for a second. Hi Jennifer. I want to send this video to someone who is asking. There she is. Okay. How are you doing, Jennifer? Nice to see you here. So we're going to be talking about the mind module, one of the mind modules in the Magic Carpet Ride program Learning Vault. The Learning Vault has about 130 learning modules, mind, body, spirit, and manifesting. And this particular one is for the mind, and it's called Dining on Rotten Apples. If you were here last week, this is a repeat this week of last week, but I never talk about the same thing the same way each week. So even if you're like, oh, I've already heard this, it's going to come across different this week if you want to hang out. Okay, so Dining on Rotten Apples. Hi, Gloria. The program is, well, I'm just going to say the price, but I'd love to talk to you about it. It's $2,700, and I do have payment plans. It's a 6-month program, and you get Magic Carpet Ride Facilitator Certificate and Reiki Master Certificate. And if there's links that will tell you about it in this post, but also if you scroll down to a couple of posts below here, there's a video, and there's a lot of details in the video. If you want to know more, just put a comment you want to know more, and I'll talk to you when we're done here. It's a group coaching program, so you get to have 2 group calls every week, and you get one-on-one 60-minute call every month. So it's a pretty comprehensive program, and so far the people who have gone through it love it. So if you want to talk about it, just let me know. It starts next Monday. Okay, so we're going to talk about dining on rotten apples. You know that saying, right? Like, one bad apple kind of ruins the bunch. So last night in the roundtable, we talked a lot about our beliefs, our mindsets, and humans generally, for the most part, are born, and then every day we're bombarded about what's real, what's not, what's right, what's wrong, all those things, right? And then we start to have these thoughts as we're growing up, according to what we've learned. And then how many of you out there that are watching find yourself having a negative thought, or a scary thought, a fear thought, a thought that's not serving you, especially energetically, but you are just used to thinking it? I don't have enough money, I don't have enough friends, I don't have a partner, or maybe I don't have these things because of all these things. The stories we tell ourselves. I was talking to someone yesterday, and we were talking about, like, what would we look like as humans if we let go of all of our heavy energetic thoughts and let our frequency rise to the top? What would this planet look like, right? It would look a lot different than it is now. So it really is our responsibility, if we choose to pick it up, to figure out how do we have our day without all of these heavy thoughts. And that's where the rotten apples come in, because you have a thought that builds off a thought that builds off a thought that builds off a thought, so that original thought is the original rotten apple, right? So during this week, if you're interested in doing a little bit of a practice, would you be willing to watch your thoughts? And, you know, originally when I wrote this module, which was months and months ago, it was about that negative thought, right? Like, you wake up in the morning and you feel something in your body that makes you unhappy. You worry about something that you have to do that day, whatever it is that you hold on to. And that kind of forms the energy of your morning, at least, until you change your mind. But then there's the conversation last night had a lot to do with what we believe. So we wouldn't have these rotten apple thoughts if we didn't have these beliefs that were so ingrained in us. So what if you spend your day, instead of letting your mind kind of, this is your ego, right? Your ego dive in and say, well, what about this? We should be worried about this. What about this? We don't have this, and all of those things. What if you just stayed on the top, made even a promise to yourself for the next day? I'm just going to, or I said day, but let's say, like, for the next hour, I'm going to really pay attention to what's going on up here. And, like, the thoughts that I'm grabbing onto to build off of. Like, I don't have this, so that means I can't have this and this and this and this, and it gets big, you know. What if you monitor it? What if you keep track? In the modules, if you click on the module link, there's a free online journal. In the free online journal, you can keep track of, just for this week, what are the predominant thoughts that keep coming into my mind that tell me I don't have enough of something, all the lack stuff. I don't have enough, I'm not good enough, I don't have this yet, I don't have that yet. Or it'll be good as soon as I get this thing. Because that's the opposite of what we're supposed to be doing, right? If we spend our entire life thinking, well, if I had this, I'd be happy, and then if I had this, I'd be happy, that's a rotten thought right there. Like, just be happy without it. What do you guys think about that? It's a slow day today. I have to say, it's the more people here, the more I have to, like, practice being like I'm talking to a bunch of people, so it's the people who are coming later. So I see that who's here? Doesn't look like anyone's here. If someone's here, say hello, because I like to know who's here. So as you go through your day, let's keep track of what thoughts are coming up for you. And it's good to watch like what thoughts are coming up for you, but also what thoughts do you think? Hi, Peggy. What thoughts do you think over and over and over? Peggy, I was just talking about, like, this is the rotten apple speech I gave last week. I don't know if you were here, but it's about those thoughts that build off each other. You know, we have that thought or a fear, and then we love to grab onto it and then expound upon it. And that connects with our conversation that we had last night about our, oh, you were here. You're my one person that's here right now, so I don't have to go over it. But I do think it's really connected to our standards of beliefs, and then how much we can grab onto that and just make it more solid into our reality. It really makes me wonder, what do you think, Peggy, about, like, if we didn't have all of these things that we think were true, what would our lives be like? What would we do all day? Doesn't it make you wonder, like, all the things that we think we need to do, and all the things we think we need to take care of, or any of it? What would we do? And is that what it's like? Is that what it's like when we leave here? It's funny, I'm off topic, but I was just talking to someone in the program, and we were talking about embracing our power. Just wander, create stuff, commune with nature. It sounds beautiful, doesn't it? We were talking about embracing our power. Like, who are we really? We're so distracted by all this stuff. And when I tuned into, like, if I wasn't afraid of my power as a regular human, you know, if I understood my power, I asked what would that look like? And what I saw, hi Tia. What I saw when I asked, like, what would it look like if I was standing in all of my power, what I saw was myself as this giant, not just a giant that's 8 feet tall, but like a giant that's a mile tall. And I was striding across the planet. Like, I could walk around the planet in, you know, just a few minutes. I was so big. And I heard something like, you wouldn't even need all this. You know, like, if I embraced all of my power, I wouldn't even, like, it's this feeling of just, like, floating up. I don't know. It's such a curious thing to me. And I love that. I would love to do that. Wouldn't that be fun, Peggy, to, like, just, I don't know, take a period of time and just completely be. And I know people are living, like, you see more and more people living that way. I think about that, you know, I'm designing all this stuff, my programs, and talking to people all the time, and sharing, you know, what I do and support. But that does feel like a draw to me, to completely just see, like, what do I want to do every moment? I think that's going to be on my bucket list. You guys watching this, have you had that opportunity to truly be, like, untethered from everything for an extended amount of time? so that you could just like get up in the morning and just do whatever you want, not have to worry about anything ever. All right. Well, this was really the talk about, you know, our thoughts, and I'm going to do one thing, a little bit of an imagery before we go. If you think for a moment, and you can even ask in your head and just intuit the information, like see what floats to the top. Not for an extended period, but definitely some good moments. That's awesome. If you think for a moment, what is your most prevalent rotten apple thought? What is your most prevalent rotten apple thought? What is your most like thought about thing that pops into your head? Maybe you're not even in charge of it, right? And it just pops into your head, and you get stuck on it. It interferes with your peace. And if you take that one thought, I mean, there's lots, and you can do this with any thought, but the most predominant one. And then if you close your eyes and you think about that thought, and then you ask, where in your body? Well, it's funny, Marguerite, like, we say we can't, but what would happen if we did? Because I really sometimes wonder, like, what would happen if we did? If we like completely surrendered, would it be all right? Would we just be taken care of if we fully trusted that we were? All right, so you pick that thought, that predominant thought. You can go ahead and say it in the comments if you want, to see if anyone else is on board with you. It is like an infection somewhere. So let me get you right. That thought that you're thinking, when you look in your body, it feels like an infection somewhere. Is that what you mean? Because what we're doing is hi Christine, I'll catch you up real quick if you want. We're having a conversation about the rotten apple thoughts, which I'm pretty sure you listened to it last week. But hi, the thought is like an infection, and yes, it feels like one too. Super interesting. All right, hold on to that. Christine, what we're doing is we're thinking about the most predominant thought that we tend to think that's a rotten apple. You know, a lot of times we do have like one predominant theme that keeps coming up and keeps coming up all day long. So if you can take a hold of that thought, that one thought, and then move into your body and think about, where is that in my body? What does it feel like? So Marguerite's saying it feels like an infection. Marguerite, is there a particular place, even though it feels kind of widespread, can you kind of zoom in to, even though if it feels like it's spread, where did it originate? Can you zoom in to where it originated? And then once you choose where the location of that thought is, let's do the practice we did yesterday, and what is the emotion? And also be welcome to pictures or, you know, some kind of information from where did this originate from. Right side, right eye, like liver. Right side and right eye. So if you've pinpointed the location, can you ask it to show you a picture? Where did it start? What was like the moment in time? And then the other thing that's good to ask is this mine? That might be a really good one for you, Peggy. Like, is this mine? Because sometimes we take on the stuff that other people have had, or that we felt, or if we're super sensitive. I know you know what I'm talking about. And then just for today, I love when I'm working on myself or someone else. Okay, just catching up. Mine doesn't feel good. It feels sick and tired. It's in my belly, solar plexus. It isn't mine. It's the reaction of people that are surrounding me at the time. Yes. So there's a lot of stuff. Like yesterday, we did stuff around this, right? You can love it, love it, love it, love it. You can befriend it. It was in me, but it isn't me. It's an angry energy that reminds me of the fires around here recently. So if it's not yours, because that kind of seems to be the theme right now, I'm going to remember that for myself. Because I feel like there's a thing right now that I'm supposed to be paying attention to. Not mine. All right. If it's not yours, can you ask, why are you holding on to it? What is it providing for you? Now, I know that's a weird question, and you might think it's not providing anything good, but it is. It's providing you knowledge. It's providing you something that's impacted your life in a certain way. So you want to know, why are you there? What have you taught me? What's going on here? And then when you're ready, and you feel like you've learned a little bit about it, I want you to imagine a helper in front of you. Yeah, definitely. That's a good one, Marguerite. I want you to envision someone in front of you helping you. And I want you to take it right out of your body. You're an energy being. You're just moving that energy up and out, and hand it to the person that's helping you, and just say, thank you, I appreciate this, but now, I understand it's not mine, so I can let it go. And really be the observer. I know that you guys both can do this. Be the observer of the energy leaving you. And Christine, it feels like maybe this is making you emotional. Is that true? Because I can feel you all the way over here. And then once you feel like it's leaving your body, what I do, whether I'm working on myself or someone else, when I'm like patching up a wound almost, or treating something that like needs healing, I use this color. I think it's cool. It's in the mirror. I'm like drunk. Like, where do I point? This blue here is what I use, and like maybe a little bit darker, like a turquoise. Like this color, and I almost use it like, I imagine a salve. So wherever it is that you're removing this thing that's not yours, you can take, you can imagine just like handfuls of salve, or you can imagine a light that's salve to help heal and bind the area. Christine, I was crying to Gino about it, trying to figure out what it has provided though. Let me go back to your other comment. It isn't mine. It's a reflection of people that were around me at the time. I was looking in my head to see if I could see something that came up. there's this feeling of if this wasn't on you, you would have a bigger grasp of your power, a bigger grasp of your brilliance. But it's almost like a cap on your brilliance. And maybe you needed it to have that experience of not owning all your brilliance, but it's time for it to come off. Does that make sense? Because you saying it's their perception of me, not mine. Yeah. And you know, I don't know if we've ever said this before, but I can feel it with you. I think we've talked about it, like almost that feeling of people being around you, like being jealous around you. Like, but your idea of, imagine, right, if you're surrounded by some people, you know how women are, that are jealous of you or who you are or how you are, but you're sensitive, so you may perceive it in a different way because you don't feel so great about yourself, then that reflection back to you, that could be what's going on there. What do you think, if that makes sense? Hi, Kristen. I was working with that energy yesterday to calm the fire's energy. The old experience surviving it pretty well gives me access to working with energies. Do you think if you're like working with the fire, let me see, I don't want to just like say it without thinking about it. Hold on. So this is what I'm seeing, Marguerite. You tell me if it makes sense to you. It looks like if you're working with the fire, are you thinking about the what it's doing to people, what it's doing to, like, the negative part of the fire? So if you're like working on the fire and maybe you're trying to put it out or bring the rain or whatever it is that your, like, your intention is, are you thinking somewhere in your mind the dangerousness of it, the you know, what could happen to people, where it came from, how it was started, all of that? Is that something that you're carrying with you as you're working? I was perceived at that time and even earlier being incapable of having any kind of life, so some of it also from people who are around me keeps it more attached. Christine, I always thought it was jealousy, but it was with adults. It's like someone always was trying to dim that spark. Yeah, that's what it felt like. And if you have like that feeling outside, our perception, even if that's not exactly what they're feeling, that's the rotten apple part, right? That's the part that someone's feeling a particular thing, but we're going to like feel it and see it through our lens that then informs us with that feeling that we construe as true. You know what I mean? Like, how many times have you, like, there's been someone that you think doesn't like you or is curt or answers you like in a way that makes you uncomfortable, and you formulate a belief in your mind, like, this is how they feel about me and this is why they're acting that way. And then a little while later, they are like, I don't know, I love you and I think you're great and I've been wanting to talk to you, whatever. You know, they're what's in their mind, their story is different than yours, but it went through your filter, so you make up a story to suit what's going on with you. Marguerite, I was sending love to the fires like they were energies of a very angry, self-blaming, hating entity to soothe it and bring it out of being dangerous. That's the problem. Peggy, I think, already was working with the other concerns about, yeah. So I'm not saying that like you're doing anything wrong, but this is what I think. This is your story, right? Like, you told a story while you were sending the energy to the fire, and so you kind of wrote your story about it. Hi, Shauna. So that could be where that energy is coming from. And yet, because, you know why, Peggy? Because you're a very powerful healer. So it's going to work. But you were just like carrying your story with the healing. That's what, yet, remember last night we were talking about when we were like sending healing to the earth, or sending energy to the earth. And I was talking about non-duplicity, and us thinking like we have to heal something, and we have to change something, and like this is bad and this is good, and whatever that is. So we're telling our stories, but we don't know the plan. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff that goes on that, believe me, I am informed. But when we bring that story to the table and then send healing, we're sending it with that intention, with that story. So if we can be just a clear conduit, it's like Reiki. Like, we don't know exactly what needs to happen because we can't see the whole story, but we're just sending it. I love you. You can do with it what you want. You know what I mean? Or if you're like working on putting out a fire, which I'm sure you weren't the only one, right? There's plenty of other people that have been like working on the fires, working on the storms, just sending peace and calm. Because those stories, they create the rotten apple thing. Marguerite, I am rather warm today and it is 30 degrees. Yeah, I think you need to somehow like dissipate the energy, maybe. You could even like use a vacuum, like that vacuum your energy, or you can take a mind trip into a room, like a wellness room, for them to adjust your energy for you. I asked my Reiki Master teacher about the idea, and she liked it and said she was joining in for the putting out the fire. Do you mean? Christine, just have to drop the kids off at school, but I'll be back on and catch up. Okay, hon. Because I have no doubt, Peggy, that you are a very powerful, you know, your energy is powerful. So whatever you set your mind out to is going to happen. But I think, and this is just me, I think it's our responsibility to just hold our light and hold our intention of peace, and not define what we think's going on. Or even, I can't remember, it might have been Esther Hicks or Bashar, somebody was talking about when we're sending healing, right? Someone's in the hospital, they've been in a bad car accident, whatever it is, and we're like, we need to heal them. So I'm going to pray for them. I'm going to pray for God to heal them, and I'm going to pray for God to do this and this, or whatever the prayers are for. And every time that we're like defining what we think is wrong with something, we're sending that vibration. So a better way to do it, if you like the idea, is to go with the idea that it's perfect. It is a perfect situation, and I'm just sending love and peace to it. But even with the fires, if you're sending the energy of a perfect situation, then you're creating the perfect situation. It doesn't mean that the fire is the perfect situation. It means that you're sending the frequency of a perfect, peaceful situation. Does that make sense? I feel like I'm like up on a pulpit. All right, you guys. Shauna, I hope you're feeling better. It sounded like you were having a bad day. You don't have to talk about it here, but I just want you to know I'm thinking about you. All right, I'm going to get ready to go, but I will be back here tomorrow at 5 o'clock. And we're in the process of signing up, onboarding people for the Magic Carpet Ride program, which starts next Monday. There's lots of information in the feed about it. If you have an inkling of, oh, I'd like to know what this is all about, put it in the comments or reach out to me and we can set up a time to get together. that's it. That's it. All right. I hope you have a beautiful day or night, and I will see you tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Bye.